Hi friends, this is Layla Harris and I'm here to show you how I built the yellow house from the Magical Mouse Christmas Village that I designed. I designed this village using the Season of Joy Christmas cartridge that was released in September 2018. It has 5 houses, or correct me, 6 houses on it, and I added elements that made it very much a magical mouse village. I'm also using the magical paper pack that was released by Close to My Heart this summer and will be retiring this fall. I'm sure you can use any of similar colors of solid cardstock too. Here I'm just showing you some of the added elements that I added. This cartridge has an advent calendar as well in 3D, and I used the curly Q and the bows for another house from that, and this time I added a chimney, which I pulled from one of the other designs of one of the other buildings. When you get the design for this, you'll see that the yellow chimney actually has matching snow on it that are the icicles, like the long ones that are on this house. I had some soft snow on the one that I built as the prototype that you're looking at. Now you can see the matching icicles and that. I can't believe how tiny these chimneys are, but in reality, they are quite small in relative scale to the size of the house. So let's keep looking around at this and start the assembly process. Okay, if you've seen my instruction guide, you've seen photographs of how I assembled this flat, which is what I highly recommend you doing. That way you can line things up and adhere everything flat and have a firm surface to do it on and that. So now I don't know why I'm showing you this again. I guess it was just my nerves and that. But get all your score tape on all of your folds and have all of your folds and score lines pre-folded before you start the house assembly. That way it goes so much faster. You pick up your roll of double stick tape and then you keep going, and when you're done you can put it down and lay down your scissors and that. So I'm just showing you a few of the elements of this and this one part of the house that is actually the raised dormer and that. So I'm doing a voiceover now, and I'm not really sure what I said this morning, but let's get started on the assembly part. So the best way to do that is to fold it in half. You want to fold it in half so that make sure that your foundation is straight. There's nothing worse than a wobbly village house. Now that you've done that, go ahead and fold it in half and peel off the double stick tape backing so that we can put it together. As I said before, make sure you're lined up at the bottom. Now that we've got that part assembled, we are going to stand it upright and put together the upstairs. That's that little flap right there, and it goes together. And the still, once again, you want to make sure that it is lined up and goes straight across and lines up to the corner of that, so it is straight and square. That will help the whole assembly process go on much more smoothly. What I'm pointing out here is that I thought it would be really cute to make that curly Q go all the way across, but it's not, because we need that piece of cardstock for the side of the house to be smooth and free of glitter paper so that the roof will actually stick, because we have some flaps of the roof, and that's one way to tell the two roof pieces apart, is that the lower one has flaps on it and it needs to stick directly to this yellow side of the house there. So don't put any decorations there until after you have your house assembled. So one thing I appreciated on this one front side of the house, or actually the back, is that there was a flap there for us to adhere the roof to, and that, but there wasn't one there on the front portion above the window because of that flap. So I built some of my own. In the design space file, I actually included them. There's some rectangles that are scored, and you can find them in matching colors and all that. But in this case, I just scored a 1-inch piece of paper that was so long and scored it in half, folded it, and added some double stick tape. If you're really smart, you'll put the double-sided tape on before you start chopping it up in pieces so that you only have to adhere like 8 inches of double stick tape down once versus 8 1-inch sections of double-sided tape. You don't need it to go all the way across, you just need it to add a little bit of stability to your roof. Otherwise, if you pick it up wrong, you could actually bulge the building and the roof could tuck itself back inside. That's something we certainly don't want to happen. So let's just fold that down and remove the tape. Now, once again, with these videos, I was never really sure how the best way to shoot a video for assembly, because my favorite surface to put these on is my desk. And if I lay it down where I have a hard surface to press against, then you're not going to see it. You're going to see the part of the video that's not moving and there's no action on that side. So forgive me. I would definitely lay this down against the table so that you have a firm surface to press against. Now here I'm pointing out that you will have a wall to adhere your roof to, and there are no guidelines. So what we really need to do is figure out where the roof is going to land on the exterior wall of the house, down there at the bottom of the screen. And then we are going to, well, first we're going to look over here and see how much overhang it is. And I had made this roof just a tiny bit wider, but looks like I made it a whole lot longer and that because there wasn't any eaves hanging over the front and the back of the house. Okay, yes, I did have to fuss with this for a bit. And tonight, sorry, I haven't edited this video to speed it up, but you'll get the idea that you will be able to do this really quickly on your own if you don't have to have everything positioned correctly for a video camera. Okay, I finally got my hand inside the house, and that is what makes all the difference here for lining it up. But the main thing is you want to line it up with a peak so that the peak line is right there at the point on the side of the house. Trust me, it's not this hard. It's really trying to do it correctly with the camera angles and all that, and sitting down and half standing up and that. Usually I didn't have nearly as much trouble when I did this on my prototype, even with the added benefit of or hindrance of having glitter paper on the side of the house. Trust me, this does get better, and I am successful. And you're going to see the best part of this is when we get it fully assembled here and we move on to the upper roof line and put together the chimney, because that's the exciting part, and that's my favorite part of this house is that cute little chimney. So what really happens is you want to lay this roof on the table. That way you have a firm surface to press down on, and you can rub those tabs down really well and adhere everything. Now in a second here, you're going to see the roof gap a little bit away from the side of the house. And that is the whole reason why I added those little tabs. And that is so that the roof doesn't gap. Now I just have to pull the double stick tape off and glue it down. The best thing to do is to make sure that you are pushing against a solid surface. So have the roof along the top of your desk and that. Or use the corner of your desk if there's that second story that's in the way. Okay, now that I've got 3 sides of this roof adhered, I'm going to stick my hand up inside and turn the flap around and pull it up so that the 2 flaps that are along the end of the roof that were part of the original design can be attached to that yellow wall. And that provides a ton of stability for this. Before you cement it down perfectly, double check to make sure that your roof is level and stable, because mine wasn't. Darn it. So the great thing about this score tape is that if you just apply it gently, it does give you a few moments of freedom to move it around and readjust without ripping. Just go slow and it will peel back off. But believe me, if you leave it alone for 5 minutes, it's not forgiving at all. Okay, let's work on the second story, and the first thing that we're going to do is add a couple more of these tabs so that the sides of the roof are stuck down really well and we don't have that bulging issue. And that having it glued down on all 4 sides is really helpful. I don't know about you, but I lost a staircase off of one of my houses, You wouldn't believe what happened to it. It was a Nerf gun target. So if you're like me, you need these to be a little bit more stable because you might have a 12-year-old or another child in the house who likes to play with them in ways that you weren't planning. Okay, now that we have the tabs in place, fold your roof. Make sure you know where the center of it is. And if need be, you could mark it, but I just kind of estimated by eyeballing it and that. Or if you want to and you don't want to have any roof line in the back, you can just lay it against the table and have it flush with the back of the house. I did do that on one of my other village pieces that's not part of the magical village. But go ahead and set it down, and then really you want to use your table. You have the adhesive off of your flaps and just lean it against the table and press it down. And take note on this paper especially that the hearts are in a line. For me, the hearts were the red ones. About every third heart was red, and I was able to use the red hearts to line up the edge of the front of the house or the back of the house to make sure that my roof was going on straight and square. Even on the front of the house, it was also a red row of hearts vertically and that. So I love the red hearts and actually the multicolored hearts on this roof, but I realized that if I were to cut it with the white paper, I would have some of the hearts going up the roof and some of the hearts going down the roof. So I flipped it over and used the black elements with the blue stars on it, and I love this roof line as well. Okay, I think I've gotten it all glued in place now. I have the 4 tabs, or the 2 tabs and the 4 tabs for the roof line of the peak glued in place, and yet I still have 4 minutes of my video left. So I'm wondering, what it could possibly be more that we would be talking about. But I see a hint of it. It's laying up there by my website name. But in the meantime, I'm just going to continue talking about this roof for some dumb reason. I have no idea what I said when I was doing this originally. Maybe I was lost in thought because my kids and husband were talking about their video game in the background. We share a family office, and that's the reason why I'm doing a voiceover this evening, because you don't need to hear about their video game. Yes, my favorite part is coming up now, and that is the chimney. So the chimney was already embellished, but I hadn't refolded it since adding the glitter paper icicles. So let's do that again so it's easy to fold now, and then take the strip off and adhere it into a box. Isn't that easy? And using a Bonding Memories glue pen is really easy for attaching the white glitter paper too. So when I do these icicles, I cut them to longer than the actual project is, and then I just have you snip them to fit because I don't want it to show up too short, and neither do you. It's much easier to trim something down than to make it fit precisely, especially if our cutters are slightly different. Sometimes mine actually cuts a little bit funky between colors. This is the easiest and most fun part. All you're going to do is peel off this 2 strips of sticky and plop that chimney on top of the roof that you want it. Once again, I have no idea why I had to spend so much time talking about it earlier in this video, but what the main thing is to choose to put it where you want it. I chose this one kind of against the back part of the house instead of the center of the chimney, and I just put my finger in and rub it down, and then I reach in from the bottom and again from the top and firmly press it in place. Or maybe I don't. Okay, now I remember what I'm motioning about. I was thinking that would be really cute to put a cotton ball to make a little tuff of smoke coming out of the chimney and that. So, okay, now we've assembled everything, and the only thing I could suggest after this is to add maybe a cotton ball or a piece of polyfill to add some smoke to your chimney. I think that would look very magical to addition for this chimney. So I want to thank you for watching my assembly videos. I have 5 of them in total, and please subscribe to my channel to be notified for the next one. Thank you.